You've been lied to about oil changes, not small, harmless white lies. I'm talking about the kind that quietly destroy engines years before their time. The kind of lies that leave you wondering why your engine is ticking, leaking, or burning oil, even though you've done everything right. Today, I'm giving you 13 oil change secrets I've used to take an old Ford F-150, one that most people would have written off at 150,000 miles, and turn it into a 350,000-mile workhorse that still pulls hard every day. If you've got a vehicle you love, whether it's a daily driver, a weekend classic, or a high-mileage survivor, this is the oil change checklist that could easily double its lifespan. Miss even one of these steps, and your engine might be quietly counting down to its funeral. 1. Use high-mileage oil. If your engine's rolled past 100,000 miles and you're still pouring in the same regular oil you used when it was new, you're already losing the battle. As engines age, seals shrink, gaskets harden, and piston rings lose tension. That's why older engines start burning oil, leaking from the rear main seal, or leaving little puddles in your driveway. High-mileage oils are designed for tired engines. They're loaded with seal conditioners, real ones, not gimmicks, that gradually swell rubber seals back into shape. It doesn't happen overnight, but I've seen leaks slow by 50% after just 2 oil changes using Valvoline Max Life. And that's not all. High-mileage formulas pack extra detergents. Old engines are like old kitchens, a lot of baked-on crud in hard-to-reach places. These detergents clean it up gently without knocking loose big chunks that could clog oil passages. Here's my rule. Avoid bargain high-mileage oils under $20. Stick with proven names like Castrol GTX High Mileage, Mobil 1 High Mileage, or Valvoline Max Life. They're also a little thicker, 10W30 or 10W40, which helps fill the tiny clearances worn parts leave behind. And in older engines, that extra thickness can mean the difference between good oil pressure and a flashing red light on the dash. 2. Add zinc for flat tappet engines. If you own an older muscle car, a vintage pickup, or even a classic inline 6, there's a good chance you've got a flat tappet camshaft. Here's the problem. Flat tappet cams have lifters that ride directly on the cam lobes. No roller bearings in between. It's pure metal-on-metal contact under extreme pressure. Back in the day, motor oil was loaded with ZDDP, that's zinc dialkyl-diethiophosphate, which formed a sacrificial layer to prevent wear. But in the mid-2000s, emissions regulations cut zinc levels drastically to protect catalytic converters. Great for emissions, terrible for old-school engines. I've rebuilt motors that didn't survive their break-in period because the owner used modern oil with no zinc. The cam lobes were flattened, the lifters were scored, and the engine was toast. If your engine has a flat tappet cam, you've got 2 options. Add a zinc additive. Comp Cam's break-in additive or ZDDP Plus work great. Run a high zinc oil, like Lucas Hot Rod Oil, Driven Racing Oil, or Rotella T4 for diesels, but still works. Just remember, zinc levels have been changing in certain diesel oils too, so always check the spec sheet before you pour. 3. Perform an engine flush. If you've ever pulled a valve cover and seen a thick layer of black crust baked onto everything, you've met sludge, the silent killer of oil flow. Sludge builds up over years of short trips, skipped oil changes, and bargain bin oil. And when you just drain and fill, a lot of that mess stays behind. That's why I recommend a quality engine flush before draining, but only on healthy engines. Here's how. Use products like Liqui-Moly Proline or Seafoam Motor Treatment. Pour into your existing oil. Idle for 10 to 15 minutes. No revving. Drain while it's still hot. A flush dissolves varnish, frees stuck rings, and carries more contaminants out with the old oil. Warning: never flush a sick engine. If it's got weak compression, loud ticking, or low oil pressure, flushing can knock loose big chunks that block oil passages. 4. Pre-fill your oil filter. Dry starts are one of the fastest ways to chew up bearings and lifters. When you install a filter empty, your engine runs for several seconds with zero oil pressure while the pump fills it. That's metal-on-metal contact the entire time. If your filter mounts vertically, fill it before installing. Pour oil in slowly so it soaks into the filter media. Top it off, spin it on hand tight, and you're done. I once had a customer bring me a freshly rebuilt Chevy 350. It knocked every time on cold start. He'd just done an oil change, but installed the filter dry. The main bearing was gone before the first mile. 5. Change oil every 3,000 miles. Forget the marketing hype about 10,000-mile oil change intervals. That's for brand new engines in perfect lab conditions. Your 15 to 20-year-old daily driver? Completely different story. Old engines run hotter, shear oil faster, and push more blow-by contaminants into the crankcase. Let it sit too long, and your oil turns into acidic sludge. I've tested used oil from 6,000-mile intervals. Viscosity dropped, additives were depleted, oxidation was through the roof. Sludge was just starting to form. That's why I stick to 3,000 miles, even with synthetic. It's cheap insurance compared to a $4,000 rebuild. 6. Avoid filling to the max. Here's one most people get wrong. More oil is not better. On most dipsticks, the gap between add and full is 1 quart. Fill right to the max cold, and once the oil heats up, it expands. Now it's overfilled. Too much oil causes crankshaft whip. The crank slaps the oil into foam, and foam doesn't lubricate. That's how bearings die. Always aim for just under full when hot. It's a quiet engine killer most drivers never see coming. 7. Replace the drain plug washer and use magnetic plugs. That tiny washer on your drain plug? It's designed to seal once. Reuse it and you risk leaks, stripped threads, or the plug backing out. Replace it every change. They cost cents. While you're there, swap in a magnetic drain plug. It catches microscopic metal particles your filter can't. I've seen magnets covered in fine shavings after just a few thousand miles. An early warning, something's wearing out. 8. Clean the filter mounting surface. After you remove the old oil filter, always wipe the mounting surface until it's spotless. Sometimes the old rubber gasket sticks to the block. Install the new filter without noticing, and you've got a double gasket, which will blow out instantly when the engine starts, dumping your oil in seconds. It takes 10 seconds to clean it. Saves you an engine. 9. Inspect old oil filters. An old filter is like an engine's black box recorder. Cut it open and look inside. Shiny flakes? Metal wear from bearings or cam lobes. Heavy sludge? Overdue oil changes or overheating. Milky goo? Coolant contamination from a blown head gasket. I once found a piece of valve seal in a Wix filter. Caught the problem before it destroyed the valve guide. 10. Warm engine before changing oil. Cold oil clings to sludge and drains slowly. Warm oil flows like coffee and carries more contaminants with it. Run the engine 5 to 10 minutes before draining. You don't want it blazing hot, just warm enough to thin the oil. 11. Check for leaks after every change. Don't assume you did it right. Prove it. Start the engine, let it idle, then check underneath around the filter and drain plug. Look again after a short drive, because some leaks only appear once the oil thins out. I've seen engines lose every drop of oil in minutes just from a forgotten gasket or loose plug. 12. Top off with synthetic between changes. Even if you run conventional oil, topping off with synthetic between changes boosts protection instantly. Synthetic clings longer, resists heat better, and strengthens the overall oil mix. I've kept high-mileage trucks running strong for decades, using conventional for changes, but synthetic for top-offs whenever the dipstick read low. Yes, you can mix them. I've done it for decades without a single problem. Follow these oil change secrets, and you can keep your engine running like new for hundreds of thousands of extra miles. Ignore them. and your motor might be on borrowed time. Want to know the 17 most costly oil change mistakes? Click here. It might save your engine's life.